to DIY with Nancy. Today I'm going to show you how to make a classic Portuguese fruit cake that we normally make around the holidays called Bolo Rei. And translation into English, it's a king cake. It's made out of fruit. It's very popular around the holiday season. It's busy in the bakeries as far as orders. I know that I used to work at several bakeries and we used to sell Bolo Rei like hotcakes. And it's very simple to make, and I'm going to tell you that if you do buy them at bakeries, they're by weight and they can be a little pricey, but you can make your own right at home. So stay with me and now watch how to make Bolo Rei step by step. Now here's the list of the ingredients you'll need for the Bolo Rei. 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 large eggs. Here I have 100 milliliters of lukewarm milk, the zest of 1 orange, the zest of 1 lemon, 3/4 cups of granulated sugar, 3 tablespoons of Porto wine, half a cup of unsalted butter at room temperature, 1 tablespoon of active dry yeast, half a teaspoon of salt. Now, for the nuts, I have 1/3 cup of walnuts, 1/3 of a cup of slivered almonds, 1/3 a cup of pine nuts, and I have 1 cup of crystallized dry fruit. Now for the first step, we're going to take the 100 milliliters of lukewarm milk and the 1 tablespoon of active dry yeast, place it into the warm milk, and you want to make sure that your yeast is activated. I'm just going to take a little whisk, stir it in, and make sure it's well combined. And then I'm just going to set it aside for about 10 minutes and let the yeast activate and move on to the next step. For the next step, I'm using my stand mixer. I'm going to start off with 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 cups of granulated sugar, the zest of 1 orange, just using a little spatula, and I'm also placing the zest of 1 lemon. To that, I'm going to add 3 large eggs. Next, I'm adding half a teaspoon of salt. To that, I'm adding half a cup of room temperature butter that is unsalted. And if you don't have your butter at room temperature, just place it in the microwave for 20 seconds. And now I'm adding my hook attachment to do the mixing. Now I'm going to add my 3 tablespoons of port wine, pour it in. And last but not least, the activated yeast that we prepared earlier. I'm going to pour it into the mixture, and I'm just going to use a little spatula to make sure that all of my activated yeast is in my mixture. And then once I have that in, we're ready to mix all the ingredients. So I'm going to place the mixer on a medium speed and let all the ingredients combine until the dough forms. Now the dough has been mixing in the bowl for about 8 to 10 minutes. The dough is a perfect dough. You can see it's easy to handle. It's not sticky. It's a stretchy dough. And we're going to move on now to the next step. Now for the next step, I'm going to take the dough, set it aside for a second. I have here 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. I'm going to use it to dust my working surface as well as the bowl that I'm going to be placing the dough in. Now I'm going to start off by taking the dough from my mixing bowl, place it onto my working surface just like that. And I want to shape my dough into a nice round ball. That's all I'm simply doing here, just forming it into a nice ball. And next I'm going to take my bowl and I'm going to take the all-purpose flour I set aside, just dust it lightly at the bottom of the bowl so the dough doesn't stick. Take the dough, place it into the center of the bowl, just like that. And now you want to let your dough rest for about 20 to 25 minutes before we add the dry fruit and nuts. So I'm going to set it aside for about 20 to 25 minutes in a warm area, and then I'll show you the next step. Now after 25 minutes, your dough has rested. Now you're ready to add the fruit. So I'm going to simply take the dough, place it into the mixer. As you can see, it's nice and airy. You like to let it breathe before you add anything to it. And now we're ready to add the fruit. And I'm going to start off by placing 1 cup of crystallized dry fruit. To that, I'm placing 1/3 cup of walnuts, 1/3 cup of pine nuts, and last, 1/3 a cup of slivered almonds. Now I've measured my fruit and nuts, but if you want, you can place more if you prefer. Now I'm going to add my hook attachment and place the mixer on a medium speed and let it mix for about 2 minutes until the fruit and nuts are incorporated into the dough. The fruit and nuts are well combined into the dough, and now I'm ready for the second rise. I'm simply going to take this dough, place it into the same bowl, cover it up, and let it rise until it doubles in size, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I had the dough in a warm place for about 1 hour and 20 minutes. As you can see, it's doubled in size. And now we're ready to move on to the next step. I'm going to take the dough from the bowl, and I'm going to show you how to shape and decorate the Bolo Rei. Now I'm going to take a tray with parchment paper, and this is where we're going to bake the Bolo Rei. Before I place the Bolo Rei on there, I'm going to flatten the center of it, and then I'm just going to place a hole in the center of the Bolo Rei. As I'm doing here, I'm using 2 hands, and you just want a hole the size of a donut in the center, just as I'm doing. And don't worry, it doesn't have to be a perfect shape. You can always shape it the way you want it once it's on the baking tray. So this is what the Bolo Rei looks like, and I'm ready to place it onto the tray. And as you can see, what I'm going to do here is shape it exactly how I want it. So you could fix the edges, straighten it out, stretch it out. And this is going to be about a 12-inch size of a Bolo Rei. And now we're ready for the next step. For the next step, I have 1 egg and I have 1 tablespoon of water, and I'm simply going to prepare an egg wash. I'm going to simply take a fork, beat the egg and the water, and then I'm simply going to brush the egg wash onto the dough before I start decorating it. So just taking a pastry brush and brushing on the egg wash all around the dough, on the top, the sides, and don't forget the inside of the ring, just as I'm doing here. And the egg wash is going to help it give it a nice golden brown color. Okay, here comes the fun part. I have some crystallized fruit. I have some dry orange. I have some cherries, and then also have some pear, a variety of fruit. And we're simply going to decorate the dough before we place it in the oven. So we're going to place the fruit right on top, and you can place it however you'd like, or as much as you like. I have 150 grams of dry fruit that I place on the top, and next I have about 1/3 cup of slivered almonds. You're going to just drizzle the almonds right on top of the dough, just as I'm doing here. And finally, I have 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, which I'm simply going to place on top of the Bolo Rei before it goes into the oven. A lot of people do it after. Well, the way I learned is you place the powdered sugar on the dough before it goes into the oven. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm ready to place it in the oven. I'm going to bake it for about 40 to 45 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's out of the oven. And here is my Bolo Rei out of the oven 45 minutes later. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It's got a nice golden brown color. I'm going to let it cool for about 15 minutes, and I'm going to show you the next step. The Bolo Rei has cooled down for about 15 minutes, and I'm going to simply use 2 tablespoons of honey, which I've placed in the microwave so I can get that pouring consistency just to glaze the fruit as well as the open dough. When I say the open dough is wherever there's no sugar. So I'm going to simply glaze it, give it a nice shine, and you can skip this step altogether. Here it is, a beautiful Bolo Rei, and I'm going to get ready to place it on a cake platter. Now I have my festive plate. I'm going to keep it consistent. I'm with a silver theme this year. Place the Bolo Rei right onto the cake plate. And the cake itself is a beautiful presentation to place on your dessert table for Christmas. Now here's what we all been waiting for. I have to cut into the Bolo Rei and show you what it looks like. And as I'm cutting into it, it has a beautiful, perfect texture. And I'm going to show you what it looks like inside. Now here's a perfect slice of Bolo Rei. have it, everyone. That's how I make my homemade Bolo Rei. Now, the Bolo Rei, the size of the Bolo Rei is a 12-inch. If you want to divide the dough and make two smaller ones, then you're going to need less time in the oven when it's baking. So you'll probably need about 30 to 35 minutes, more or less. Just place a skewer into the Bolo Rei while it's in the oven at the 30-35 minute mark and see if it comes out clean. And if the skewer comes out clean, your Bolo Rei is ready. But if you're going to make one Bolo Rei, which in this case, like I said, it's a 12-inch, you're going to need about 45 minutes. And I place it on the top rack so I can get a nice golden color on the top. So I hope you all enjoyed my recipe for Bolo Rei fruit cake. And if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Take care.